So Joe Biden really made a very weak and pathetic attempt to try to, I guess, get some of Bernie Sanders supporters to support him, but did it in a really I don't know, just really shows his just complete corporatist leanings and backings by the people in his campaign and what he's proposing now. So this, supposed olive branch to the Bernie supporters was lowering Medicare eligibility age from 65 to 60. And it should also be pointed out, I believe Kyle Kalinske in Secular Talk pointed this out, that Hilary Clinton was actually to the left of Joe Biden this issue in 2016. I believe Hillary's was proposing either lowering it to 55 or 50. So I mean, we've moved 4 years later. The country has definitely shifted, with regards to support for things like Medicare for all. And, Bernie Sanders and his movement have definitely helped with that. But that's all Joe Biden can offer. That's not going to help him get more young people, more people under 45 or 50 who supported Bernie Sanders overwhelmingly. That's not going to benefit them. Joe Biden already has the support of people, I think it's 55 or and over, or 60 and over. Lowering the Medicare eligibility age by 5 years to 60 is not going to help any of these, disaffected Bernie voters who see Joe Biden as, a complete sellout and just the antithesis of what Bernie Sanders stood and supports with regards to policy. I mean, that's fucking ridiculous. That's not going to do anything. Does he maybe think he's going to, pick up some, I don't know, independent or moderate Republicans? Is he going to be able to take some of those back from Trump? Is that what he thinks, lowering this by 5 years? It's fucking ridiculous. Obviously, if you really, truly wanted to get Bernie Sanders support, I mean, I don't even know if this would help, because I wouldn't trust him to go through with it. Say you're going to support Medicare for all. I mean, some people, if they actually thought you were genuine, would probably do that. But I mean, I don't believe for a second that Joe Biden would actually support that. Again, multiple times during this coronavirus pandemic, he came out and said he would veto a Medicare for all bill if it somehow was able to pass the House and the Senate. He would veto it, and this is during a pandemic. This is Joe Biden. And then he comes out with this completely ridiculous plan to try to court Bernie supporters by lowering the Medicare eligibility age to 60. It's not going to help, bud. You actually need to come up with some policies and, a platform that's going to appeal to Bernie voters. That ain't going to cut it. And then he came out with this plan to, cancel some student loan debt, but it's means tested, only covers public colleges and HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities. That's good, but again, all student loans should be canceled. Doesn't matter if you went to a private or a public college, get rid of all of it. It's ridiculous that people, in order to try to get ahead in life or just to increase their knowledge, they have to just be shackled with oftentimes tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loan debt. We could have easily gotten rid of that with just a small chunk of the money that we've given to Wall Street and these massive corporations with these no strings attached bailouts. And I was listening to the Majority Report. Sam Cedar was talking with Alex Perrine. I forget what outlet, but he's a contributing writer for some kind of left-leaning magazine, and forget which one, but one of them was basically making the point that, folks who tend to attend private colleges are oftentimes some of the most marginalized people in the country, so it's just adding insult to injury. You're not going to even try to help out those people at all. And then again, it's such a neoliberal, corporate centrist Democrat thing to do, to means test canceling student loan debt. Obviously, Bernie had the correct stance. You cancel all of it. Same thing with Medicare for all, universal free, or I should say tuition-free college, universal health care, Medicare for all, not lowering it to 60. That's just, I think maybe one of the strategies by doing such a piecemeal shitty thing was Biden and his team was like, well, look, we're extending the olive branch, we're making some concessions, even though they're completely ridiculous and aren't really going to fundamentally change things or really help that many people. But we made an effort, so if they don't vote for us, then they're just sore losers. And just because Bernie didn't get the nomination, that's why they're not supporting us. Look, we lowered it 5 years, even though that's to the right of what Hilary was offering in 2016, and the country has significantly shifted with the type of policies they support. We did our best. And then the same thing goes for the means tested college tuition, or I should say student loan cancellations. I don't think I would ever honestly vote for Joe Biden at this point. The sexual assault allegations, Iraq war, NAFTA, PNTR, wanting to cut Social Security multiple times as a senator. The list goes on and on. Not supporting Medicare for all during a pandemic, and then this freaking ridiculous effort to try to get some of Bernie's supporters. I don't think it's going to work. Luckily, I don't live in a swing state, so I feel totally fine about voting third party. I'm voting for the Green Party, most likely. Their platform lines up very closely with what Bernie supported, just maybe to the left, a little bit more progressive on some issues. And, I wouldn't necessarily tell anybody how to vote in 2020. I could never vote for Donald Trump because of the, racism, the xenophobia, the accelerating the war on migrants that was, ramped up a lot under Obama and Biden, the tax cuts, 83% of the benefits going to the top 1%, his just crazy foreign policy, the environmental deregulation, and then Joe Biden isn't any better. He still wants to, doesn't support a Green New Deal, again, doesn't support Medicare for all, doesn't support canceling student loan debt. It's a the obvious and very serious cognitive decline as well. It's a choice between, basically a poop sandwich and a pea smoothie. Neither option's very good, and that's why, we really need to break out of this corporate two-party duopoly that we have, because again, it's one party bought and paid for by the corporations, with a few small differences here and there on social issues, which yes are important, but as we've seen with the last stimulus that was passed, was a huge giveaway to both corporations, and both parties jumped in line to support that. The only person in Congress or the House, or I should say the House or the Senate, who actually tried to stand up and fight against it was a libertarian member of Congress, Thomas Massey from Kentucky. So Joe Biden's going to have a very hard time convincing younger folks to come out and vote for him, I think, or just Bernie supporters in general. And it's a huge problem, but this is what happens when the DNC propped up and the Democratic establishment and the media propped up this horrible candidate who can't put two clear sentences together without completely fumbling over his words. And then you have Donald Trump on the other side, so it's like the choice between a poop sandwich and a pea smoothie or pea soda or something. It's not very appetizing. And Joe Biden's not offering or making any type of policies, or, you know, he's not saying he's going to, you know, nominate or make Nina Turner the VP or Bernie the VP. So I have no inclination to, you know, help get him elected. And then let's see those, you know, Biden supporters, those centrist Democrats and those older folks who supported Biden, even though he went against their own self-interest, their own material interest. He's not going to make their lives any better. Let's go see them go out there and knock on doors, canvass, phone bank, donate to Biden's campaign. I mean, I canvassed for Bernie. I donated. I made all these videos about why he was the best candidate. And, you know, he has basically the lowest enthusiasm ratings, I believe, for any presidential candidate or presumptive nominee. He's going to have huge problems, and offering these, you know, really shitty, weak olive branches by supposedly lowering Medicare for all eligibility by 5 ages and means testing, canceling student loan debt, ain't gonna work for me, and I don't think it's gonna work for many people. But I would love to hear your thoughts about Joe Biden's ridiculous attempts to court Bernie supporters. Peace, much love. Subscribe if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it.